Welcome to the crack of dawn. So glad you're tuning in, and I love it. Today, we're going to finish the Lighthouse that I did last week. I just thought, I can't leave this thing like this. And actually, the top one is okay, but we can do two at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do today. Hope everybody's been great. I've been painting these Tom Brady pictures for the Patriots Place. So if anybody is in Gillette Stadium, it will be November 30th until December 2nd. 3 days only. So this one is, I guess, the whole team. I don't know many people from the team. Then I have one back here. I'm just going to sit down and grab it and show you this one. I don't know who these people are, but I just Google them, and when things that look exciting, like they maybe just won the Super Bowl, I just start painting them. So I'm doing a great job with these, and if anybody goes to the Vikings-Patriots game, hopefully the Patriots will win. I believe it's that Saturday or Sunday, maybe Sunday. I don't watch a lot of football, but I am now. So anyhow, that's a great thing. And then I've got a show in October at Miss Porter's school, and the painting instructor, Greer Torrance, he's a better painter than I am. I love you, Greer, but I don't get that jealous over him because he's wonderful, but I try not to get jealous with the painters, but he is so good. And he went to Yale, so BU, Yale, you know, there's a big step in between there. But anyway, he's given me the show at Porter's, and I couldn't be more grateful. He's a great guy. He's got a nice family, lives in the town that I live in, Farmington, and it's wonderful to have that opportunity. So thank you, Greer. Mr. Torrance. So what we're going to do is my daughter was telling me the other day, Mom, you need to show people the palette because nobody knows what you're doing. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm just getting used to this. So today, what I've done is I just put the colors that I need, and I didn't put big globs of paint because, again, you know, I don't want to waste it. But I'm going to try, this one's okay. I'm going to work on this one first, but it's just a little too bright, little too yellow, looks kind of fake. I mean, definitely something you could sell it at the Christmas tree shop and it would go. But, you know, I'm trying to sell my paintings, and it's very hard to be an artist these days. Always, it's hard. It's like being a chef. You have to be the best chef. You have to be the best chef you can, or nobody's going to come to your restaurant. You got to be the best actor, or else you're not going to get the good movie parts, and it's a very hard career. So being an artist is tough. I encourage anybody that has children that's like, Mom, I want to be an artist, go for it. Instead of saying you're never going to make it, just go, because you know, negativity is not a good thing. So I try to be positive. I think outside of the box, and I also think positive. So I'm a very positive person. So let's see what we're going to do here. Now, I've got my fancy brushes that I like, and again, nothing expensive. These blue ones are Dick Blick. They're roughly anywhere between $1.88 to, you know, the bigger ones are more expensive. And then if you buy sable brushes, those are extremely expensive. But I don't bother with that because it's sort of like clothes. You know, you're either good looking or you're not. And no fancy $200 t-shirt's going to make you look any better. So you may as well bargain shop like I do. And, you know, I just have a great time. Plus, nobody has what I'm wearing. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. Okay, so what we're going to do is I love my fancy big brush like this. I'm going to go in and try to make this sky more cloudy. I might even get rid of the sunset, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but watch, and we're going to have fun doing it. So remember when we were painting it, the cylinder is a smiley face on the bottom, a frown face on the top, and then you connect the two, and they get skinnier as they go up. So I'm going to fix that lighthouse, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix some white. And clouds are very hard to paint. They really are. So basically, it's black and white. And the light on the top of the cloud is usually lighter, but sometimes the light hits the bottom of the cloud and it shoots up through. So it's very hard to paint clouds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fix my background a little, and so that my lighthouse is looking crisper. So what I'm going to do, mix some white. I've got a little black mixed in, and I'm going to take a touch of yellow. I'm not sure if that's going to work out, but I'm going to try it anyway. Why not? So I'm going to go and kind of go down on my lighthouse so that that little piece there isn't there anymore, and it's going to look gorgeous. And I think some of this blue is a little too much. So again, I can take my white, and I can mix a little black with it. Gets to be a gray. Anything with a little bit of black, you think like, oh, that's still white, Dawn. No, it's not. Okay, if you put it back up to the white, it's not at all. So I'm going to go over, whoopsie, that happens. And what I do is I just brush it off. If you take a cloth with some water, that comes right off. But I don't have time to do that right now. Plus my cup is covering it, so I'm just gonna leave it. So I'm gonna go over the background and make it less crazy yellow and a little bit more. Let me move Brady. I'm gonna put him down here so he doesn't get wrecked, okay? And again, I am gonna go over the background, get rid of some of this brightness. I'm gonna leave some of it too, but a lot of it's a little too bright, a little too blue. Again, going over this just to dull it down. You know, I know I move fast here, but you know, not all my paintings come out great. You know, you can't give up. You know, like I do with cooking all the time. I can't stand cooking. I'm okay at it, but the kids have gotten it down. The other day, they're like, Mom, we're gonna make the hamburgers. I'm like, really? Okay. Again, I'm just going over some of this. So they get some butter out, they throw it in the pan. I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't put butter in a pan before you cook a hamburger. And they're like, well, Gordon Ramsay does. And I'm like, oh, brother, are you kidding me? So they were watching Gordon Ramsay, and sure enough, he puts butter in the pan before he does the hamburger. And they were testing it out. They're like, oh my gosh, these are so good. So apparently, you know, I should watch the cooking shows a little bit more often, but again, I don't have time. That's why I want to see the Meg, that movie with the big shark. Nobody will see it with me. Every morning I say to my husband, want to go to the Meg tonight? And he's like, no. I say to the kids, want to go to the Meg with me? No. Nobody wants to go. And it's like, I don't want to go to the movies alone. I mean, what am I going to do alone? It's creepy. So anyway, you might see me at the Meg alone, but that's okay. So again, this is dulling it down. I'm gonna leave that little bit of yellow back there. That looks really nice. See how it's coming through. Hopefully you can see. We've got one camera tonight, so you know we can't get all the angles. But again, we're gonna be having guests soon. I keep saying that, so you're probably like, she lies. But I will be having guests. Everybody's busy. And people travel a lot. I don't travel that much. I mean, I go anywhere where a car is involved because I really can't afford to do much more than that. So it's okay. But I take the kids wherever they want to go and we work it out. Now, I'm going to do a cloud. I'm going to take some white and some black and mix some kind of a gray. I'm not going to use too much water, but I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to put some darker clouds. Okay, and then on top of that, I'm gonna add some white and it's gonna look lovely, you're gonna see. So I'm gonna put that kind of going where the blue was. And again, if you have fun with it, sometimes you just don't know. You're painting like this, you're gonna go crazy. But when you just flap it around like this, it's kind of fun. And sometimes you're like, ooh, that looks good, I'm leaving that. I kind of like this yellow coming in the background, so I'm gonna leave that. And again, I need my lighthouse to be perfect. It's just like a house. You know, if you go and look at a house that you're going to buy and it looks like it's going to fall down, that's why the inspector comes. And if he says, oh, the roof line isn't well, you know, that means it's falling into the ground. So I think my house is okay, except we've got some mice. So I'm thinking about getting a cat. But the husband hates the cats. You know, he, you know, like someone said earlier, he'll grow on, the cat will grow on him. He'll like the cat, but I don't know. I mean, we lost our dog, Gary, and he was the coolest dog ever. And he was just so easy. So it's hard to get another animal, especially when you lose such a cool one like mine. Mine was a rescue. He came with the name Gary, and it was the coolest name ever. All the rescue animals are named like Paul, Bob, Sue. You know, you get something that's named like Sharpie or Sandy. You know, anytime it's a person's name, it's usually a rescue. But my friend just named her dog Bruce. And she's one of my daughter's friends, and her mother's really cool. They named the dog Bruce. I love it. And the other one, they got two, but I can't remember what they named him. So again, I like my sky. And as I was saying, your sky has to reflect the water. So now this blue doesn't really match up here. So again, I'm going to take my black and my white. So if you bomb a painting, you can give them out away. If you're really sick of it, you could throw it out. There's so many things you can do with your painting. But again, this acrylic is drying so fast that I don't have to really worry. And I think I can make this into just a whole different scene, as long as it looks real. So I'm taking the gray, same what I did with the sky, and I'm just putting it in here, okay? Making it look great. And we're gonna do that. I hope everybody's been lovely. Been doing my Aldi grocery shopping, and I love it. And every now and then I go to Stop and Shop. There's this sauce called Vittoria. My friend in school told me about it, and it really is good. It's a big difference. So using the gray, I'm just doing a reflection of the sky. I'm leaving some of the blue. I'm leaving some of the yellow. I'm going to get rid of this ugly brown stuff that I put there. I don't know what I was thinking last time, but that's okay. I'm going to take a minute to show you something in a second. As soon as I start making this look a little better, I'll show you something. But I'm going to go fast because that's the way I work. It's probably why I cook bad. Ramen noodles, love cooking those, I'll tell you. That's so easy. Here we go. So I'm going to take some white. I'm going to do my beach area up here and just make it look a little bit more real. So I'll show you some of the paints. Same brand, Liquitex. This says yellow ochre. This says yellow oxide. I don't know what the difference is. They're pretty much in the same ballpark. So again, people will say, oh, Dawn, do I use titanium white, Mars white, or flake white? I'm like, I don't know. It's white, so does it matter? It probably does. And if I went back to school, I could learn all about it again, but I'm not going back to school. No, thank you. I could go to Tunxis, though. That looks like a good place to go. All right, so my beach is also going to be a little reflection of the sky. So I'm just going to make it a little bit lighter, and I'm going to go in the direction that I was going before. You know, you don't want to start going like this because that's not going to look right. You want to go in the direction that it would be going in, okay? I can take my yellow oxide or whatever it is, yellow ochre, and I can mix it with a little bit of this burnt umber, okay, which is basically brown. See? Now it's going to turn a little of that color. A lot of people's skin is this color. So, you know, they used to have these colors, like I said, called flesh, and you just can't do that anymore, you know, because everybody's a different color. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much pink. So when I go and get my foundation, a lot of times I'm buying pink because I'm like bright red, pretty much. So anyway, I'm going to do this, put in my beach, get rid of this brownie stuff and make it a little bit more white looking. And I can make beach grass, which will look really nice, and then it won't look so boring. So we'll do that. Then after this, we'll do another one next week. Okay, so that's kind of blending in nice. It looks a little bit more real. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smaller brush. I don't know which one, maybe this one. Okay, see, it's pointy. It's called a round brush. Ooh. That was almost like sharp. And, you know, if you buy the cheap brushes, then you don't have to worry about, you know, keeping them so perfectly. A lot of people say to store the brushes straight up like this in a container, but the water goes into the brush and it wrecks it. So it's just like a wine bottle. Think about that. So the wine bottles, you store them like this. Same thing with the paintbrushes. And, you know, anytime I'm wrong, I admit it. I'm just like, I'm sorry. That's a lot of funny things. People can't admit they're sorry. And it's like people wouldn't fight as much if somebody could just say, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Done. Case closed. Okay, so it looks like the light is hitting this side of my lighthouse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this side, and I'm going to make it so, whoopsie, again, you could just do that. I'm going to make it look like the light is hitting this side of the lighthouse, and then the other side is a little darker. Okay? And then the reflection of the lighthouse might even come over here a little and possibly into the water. Okay? So you can totally do that. Don't worry. I'm going to go with my boat. Well, I have the whiteout, so I may as well use it. Whiteout. Oh, God. There's like no whiteout anymore. Now everybody's on a computer. No paper. No. Chromebooks at school. It's crazy. But I like, the kids are teaching me a ton of stuff, so it's a lot of fun. So again, I'm going to do my sailboat. That's just going to be white. I'll do the one in the background. Might have a little reflection in front of it. And I could add a little bit of a sort of shore here. So if you take some white and put it along the edge here, it might look like there's some water kind of hitting the shore. Also, the globs. You know I love the globs of paint. Some people don't like globs, but you can go in and you can put, see that big glob there? It sort of looks like a wave is coming up. So I'm kind of twirling it as I'm going along. So I'm kind of taking the glob and twirling my brush like this. Ooh, that's a big glob. But sometimes the globs are great because they look real. Okay? And then I'm going to go back up into my sky. It's looking a little better. I'm going to go over those seagulls because I don't like those anymore. And I'm going to put in some white clouds. Now, with the clouds, again, clouds are amazing. I've done a whole series of clouds, and it's amazing how the light comes from the top, it comes from the bottom, it is just everywhere. So you gotta kind of just go around until you say, oh, that looks real. Again, you don't want too many globs in the background because that will just come out at you. So, you know, you wanna put some, don't make any globs in the background, get rid of those. Okay, and I'm kind of going down like this. I'm going at an angle, sort of like this. And we're just kind of waiting to see. I actually like it better than the first one now. Again, that's globs, but I can make it work. Okay. And then we'll do that. Yeah. Okay, and then again, we'll put some in the water so that it's reflecting through. And I can put some up here on the rocks coming in too. Again, once you have a color, you may as well use it. Okay, I have a lot of colors here that I might not use today, but that's okay. Okay, again, I've got my red Solo cup stuck to the thing, but you always need a cloth, okay? And actually, I don't really get paint on my clothes or the floor, but I was doing some snow, like this one. Usually I let the kids do the snow, but when this painting was done, I take a brush with kind of not a lot of water, but I water it down a little, and then I make sure to put a tablecloth, and then I do this. And my kids are allowed to do my paintings like that too, because it doesn't matter, you know, the painting's already there, as long as it looks nice. They can do it with the horses, you know, because the horses are running and they get all the dirt everywhere. So that's something that I let my kids kind of do. I don't know if they did that one behind me, but you know, I kind of like that. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to put some, I don't have any green, but oh God, I forgot. Yellow, blue, red. Those are your primary colors for those of you who know nothing about art. So yellow and blue makes green. Okay, so we're going to take the blue and take the yellow, mix it together. Might not be my favorite green, but it turns green. So what you can do with that is, it's kind of a nice green. Then you can lighten it up with a little white. But what I would do is take that and put it over here so that you have one green here and one green there. Then you can have a more yellowy green. So I can have 3 different greens. So now I have 3 different greens. I have a light, a medium, and a darker, okay? And then there's these brushes. I don't have the one I want, but that's all right. You want a pointy brush that is long and skinny. So this one's about ½ an inch, but there's ones that are like this long, and those are great. They don't last that long, but they're great for signing your name, and they're great for seagrass. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the seagrass. Now, instead of starting from the top of the seagrass, I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to go like this and make some grass coming out, okay? Sometimes I do it like this. I'm going to put that one behind just for a second. Sometimes I do it like this because it's easier for me. So sometimes if it's easier for you to hold it and do that, if it's easier for you to put it on a table and do that, but I'll do it like this so you can know. And you can go slow on these, but I usually don't. I usually just do it like this. So I'm going to add some seagrass growing in, which is going to make the painting look a little bit more lively and better. Okay. Again, this time I'm going to do it standing up just because you're not going to be able to see. But again, I took some more blue with less yellow, and I made a darker green here. And again, you're going to want to be loose, and you're going to want the seagrass to go in. So see, sometimes it's easier to do it fast, because if you do it slow, it doesn't look real. So I do it fast. You can water it down a little bit. Throw in some seagrass. I mean, it can go this way, I suppose. Maybe it'll work better. But you want it to look like there's some seagrass growing here. Okay, I'll go to show you how to make one of those crazy fences too, like at Cape Cod when you have the dunes. I just had my show at Cape Cod. That went pretty good. I think I sold 1 cupcake for like $60. And my friend Rachel was like, oh, let me send you the check. I'm like, no, just keep it. Because when I go out there, she treats me so nice, lets me stay at her house. She's a firefighter. She's half my size. I don't know how she does it, but she is great. Loves her job. I could never do that. I've got interesting friends with different jobs. You know, I'd love to be a dentist and make a whole bunch of money, but I could never do that. Never. Okay, so I'm going to put in my seagrass. And then to make a bit of a distraction, I can also, it kind of brings the front of the painting closer by adding this seagrass. And I can do it in this one too, but I'll save that one for another time. So again, I gotta make some more green, blue and yellow. Okay, the more blue, the darker green it's gonna be. The more yellow, the lighter green. And then the more white you add, it's just gonna lighten up the hue. Okay, so I'm gonna throw in that grass. That's gonna look great. Then I'm gonna add a fence that's gonna look great. I'll show you what kind of fence I'm gonna do too. You know, and then of course, you know, the painting sells if I put some nude swimmers in, but I'm not doing that one. But every time I put a nude in there, people buy it. They're like, oh, that is great, but this is not a nude beach. There's only a couple of them. I don't like those places. I mean, I don't care, but you know, I don't think I could romp around on the beach like that. So I'm pretty modest. So I'm gonna put in this seagrass. Maybe a couple of them are gonna be going over the thing, like they're longer. And again, as you can see, I'm sort of like doing what a cat does, you know, just kind of scratching at it. Now, I'm gonna make one of those fences, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm gonna take the brown and, okay, burnt umber it's called, and I'm gonna lighten it up into this color, okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's sort of like that drifted wood, that driftwood. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a fence going in front of this. So I'm gonna put one there, and I'm gonna put one here, and I'm gonna put one there, and maybe one coming up from here. And then I'm gonna take some white, and I'm gonna water it down, and I'm gonna throw it in with a little bit of this, so it's kind of whitish brown, the same color I used. A lot of the colors I'm not using tonight, they're gonna go in the trash can when I leave. And when I leave here, I'm gonna go down to Pizzeria Artistica. Okay, now I'm just doing like there's this like rope stuff. I don't know what it is, but it's like holds the fence together here. And then you can put a shadow on the side of your fence like this. Because again, if the light's coming from this way, the light's gonna hit everything from that way. Okay. And then I'm gonna do one more thing here. I'm gonna take pure white, and I'm just gonna make some of these things a little bit lighter so you can see them, okay? And you know, there's a lot of YouTube videos. Now I heard Bob Ross, you can watch him anytime you want. He's so popular. I wish I was that popular really, but not happening. It's okay, but maybe someday. Okay, then I'm gonna take my seagrass. I probably have a couple minutes left. So what I'm just gonna do is bobble on like I always do. I'm gonna put the more blue, and I'm gonna make some of that seagrass go in front of the fence just so that it kind of disappears. Okay. And then of course, I'm gonna sign it. Get a little bit more blue. I'm glad I'm using up all this paint because it's nice. Put that in. And you want the different color greens because it looks really nice. Okay. And it doesn't have to be Cape Cod. Again, it can be anywhere. Anywhere you want. So again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you quickly just how I sign. I don't know if I'm done, but I think we had a good lesson here. Actually, I'll show you quick. I'll put that back so you can see these, okay? Some paintings don't take me quick. Some take a little bit longer. Now, I just want to show you a canvas real quick, and then I'll see you next time. So if I get cut off, don't worry. But anyway, as you can see, Ocean State Job Lot, $2.99. I can sell this thing for 40 bucks. I've already made 30. I can't do math. I told you that already. $38. So on the back, people say to me, what are these things, Dawn? And I say, well, if the canvas gets stretched, you take these little things and you stick them in here, and it makes the canvas not have these little points and things that you can see my fingers doing here. So that's what those are. And if I'm lying and I made it up, then sorry, but that's what I think I was told. These just, you know, you stick them into the back of the painting, and it makes it stretch it out. So what you can do is if your canvas gets, you know, kind of wavy and stuff, you take these things, I think they're called shims, and you stick them in here, I think. I'll have to ask Greer Torrance when I see him next time, but I have no idea. Could be wrong, I'm not always right, but I try to be. But thank you for tuning in. Next time, I don't know what we're gonna paint, but I better have a guest because everybody is blowing me off. Ron, I love you. And Ron is having some things with his wife, who is wonderful. I think she broke her hurt her foot or something like that. So, of course, he's the loving husband that he is, taking care of her. So I can wait. But I would love to have anybody on, and I love your tuning in. We're having so much fun. I'll see you next time. And please join me for the next episode of The Crack of Dawn, because the crack is back. I love it.